October Red is sponsored by SA Security. Maximum security, minimum fuss.
Hello and welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. I'm Abs of October Red, and I'm delighted to be joined by Hall of Famer, former world champion, multi-weight world champion, may I add, Buddy McGirt.
Hello, October. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. And you're spending your wonderful holidays here in the beautiful, freezing cold UK.
I left Florida Saturday, it was 80 degrees. And I get here and it's cold.
How'd you cope with that climate change, buddy?
Huh?
How'd you cope with the climate change?
Well, you know, I'm from New York, so, I mean, I'm used to the cold weather. Even though I live in Florida now, but I was born and raised in New York, so.
Which part?
I grew up in Long Island, right outside of Queens.
Okay. I had an uncle that lived in the Bronx.
The boogie down Bronx, okay.
But like
the Bronx
my mom,
is rough. The Bronx is rough. It's rough in the Bronx. ICE don't even go to the Bronx.
To be fair, because my uncle is my mum's, well, they're both dead now, but they're twins and they're from Jamaica. So one went to England and then we went to my mum went to probably not a nice area, if you want to look at it like that. And then her twin brother, went to the Bronx. So it was kind of like the equivalent areas where they actually lived in different countries. So, yeah. But I went to New York once, but only to the nice bit. I went to Manhattan and I felt more at home. There were so many Jamaican people there.
Oh,
I felt like I was at home.
You go to Brooklyn. You go to Brooklyn, baby. They got their own community in Brooklyn.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was nice because it was like all the people you meet and they're like Jamaican. I'm like, Jamaican, ah. So it was like, it was a bit of a reunion when I went to New York and I was like, yeah, one day I've got to go back, but explore it more, not just go in the tourist bit.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? I remember there was this one geezer we went to, because you know you do your shopping and that. We went to this Nike store and obviously everyone's on a hustle and everyone's got to make money. It's not like the UK, if you ain't got a job, you get benefits and that. It's not like that over there. Right. If you ain't got no dough, you ain't got no dough. So people are either selling mixtapes or they're trying to do some hustle. And there was this geezer outside this Nike shop because he was going to look at the trainers back when I used to wear Nike, not Adidas. So forgive me, it was years ago. And he was going, because I just bought these trainers. Can you take them in the shop and exchange them and they're the wrong size and da-da-da. And I was with my husband, innit? And then I looked at my husband, I looked at him, and I just said to him, you go and change them. Your trainers, you go in the shop and go and change them. Do I look like an idiot? And he goes, oh, you're the boss. Okay. And he just like, I thought, don't take me for no idiot. You think they've got gun police on every corner. Do you think I want to be going over there and teething at trainer shops?
Yeah, exactly. Unbelievable. That's New York, baby.
Yeah.
New York. So nice. They named it twice.
Interesting. But anyway, Buddy, listen, it's been a minute since we caught up and we talk anyway. So obviously this interview is going out and everyone sees it, but we talk anyway. You know, you're one of the good guys in the industry that I definitely keep in touch with.
Thank you.
Offline. Yeah, from when we first met, it was like, I just got on with you straight away. It was Gerald Washington that said to me, go and speak to Buddy McGirt. You'll get on really well. I think you might have been training him at some point. Then it was years and years ago. And he said, you'll get on really, really well. So I already had you were already on my radar. And then when I saw you at the time, it was with Dan Aziz.
Yeah.
I was like, just jumped on you. I was like, yeah, he ain't getting out of my sight. And obviously the rest is history.
So how you been? How have you been? Before you start asking me questions, how have you been?
All right.
Okay. I got to make sure you're okay.
I'm good. All the better for being here with you on this cold winter morning. But today,
yeah, exactly. Tell me about it.
Today, it's about you, Body. Now, I watch your social media religiously, and the titles are Man Hell, Time for the Percolator. So for those of us that are uneducated and don't understand the Body McGirt slangs and terms of business, tell us about Man Hell and the Percolator. The Percolator is my favorite, by the way.
When I say it's time for the percolator, it's time to make shit hot. You know what I mean? And, it's time to get it going. And it's funny you mentioned that. Some guy got on there and asked me, do you know what a percolator is? I'm like, come on, man. Like, are you serious? Like right now? Like, he's related to a coffee pot. Okay. And the coffee pot gets the coffee going. If I'm not mistaken, from what I remember, it gets it cooking. You know what I mean? So, I just said it's just, as something funny to just, be like, it's time to get it in, and man hell means it's time to dig deep. You know what I mean? When we, I have a saying when the guys get to the weigh-ins or the press conferences, that's when the asses start getting tight because now it's showtime. It's showtime. So I'd be like, man, hell, it's time to rumble, man. So, and I just stuck with it.
It's funny that you said that. The bit that you said that when it's the press conference time, the asses start to get tight. You can say that because you've been a fighter, you've been in the position that they've been in, better positions, further positions, and also in the middle. You've been where they've been. What is it about that fight week? Because I'll fight if I have to, but to choose to box and then you have that date in the future, I'd be ill, I'd be sick, I'd be like nervous because it's that build up. How do you
reality starts to set in. Reality starts to set in that we're here now. I mean, it's just a matter of hours or days. So your asses get tight. You're like, oh no, not me, guys. Bullshit. I don't. Until that bell rings. Until that bell rings, your ass starts getting tight. You start getting edgy. Because now you're here now. You're at the big dance now. You know what I mean? So. That's how I say, a lot of guys are, oh, man, I don't be, fuck that. No, look, man, let's keep it real, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's just keep it 100. You know what I mean? Just something in the nerves. So I just would say ass is getting tight right about now. You know what I mean? It's like when you were a kid and you knew you was going to get your butt beat when you got home. You was walking that walk to the house. Your ass got tight because you knew you was about to get your ass toward the frame.
I'm going to let you into a little secret, Body. My mom never waited till I got to the house. She used to walk down the road in front of all of my friends, and you could see it was my mom because she was short and she had these bow legs and she had like a Rottweiler dog. And she used to walk down the road and my friends were laughing and used to say, you're going to get boss up today. And quite often, yes, it was that long walk towards her where I knew there weren't no way around it and I was going to get my head bossed on the street. The good old days.
That's right.
Because I stayed out.
That's why I say I tell guys, anticipation of an ass whooping is worse than the ass whooping itself. Just knowing you're going to get your ass whooped is like, man. And sometimes my mom said, I'm going to beat your ass in the morning. Be like, how do you expect me to sleep tonight? Like really? You want me to sleep tonight knowing I'm going to get my ass whooped in the morning?
I like that though.
Yeah. So, so that's what I just say, a lot of guys, oh, buddy, I ain't no problem, man. It is what it is. Everybody's a tough guy.
Jordan Flynn, I'm going to ask you about him first. What made you take him on, Body?
He reached out to me on Instagram, and I'm the type that, I give anybody a chance, and he was determined to. He came to the States, like he didn't hesitate. He goes, when can I come? I said, when do you want to come? He said, I'll see you next week. He came. He was willing to put in the work. I mean, he's got a ways to go. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of work, but he's willing to put it in. So when you get someone like that with that type of determination, being the next fighter is like, gotta give him a hand, gotta help him. And he's coming along well. Still got a ways to go, don't get me wrong. But he's willing. Wherever I go, he goes. When I was in Portugal, he came to Portugal. I'm now in Liverpool, he's in Liverpool. When I'm home in Florida, he comes. Wherever I'm at, he comes. So that shows me that's a guy that wants it. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, you know what? I can't. And he's a good kid. You know, he comes from a good family, and he's a hard worker.
When you look at a fight and you think they've got a way to go, and every fighter's different, and you've taken on fighters from different levels of experience, what would you say that's left for Jordan? Because all those characteristics, I see them. I know he's a hard worker. I know he really wants it. Great guy, good family,
Right.
can see all of that. But let's cut it down to the boxing skill. When you say he's got a little way to go, what is it that he needs to work on?
He has to work on, you know, from what I see, he's got to work on more defense. You know, everything is offense. So I'm like, okay, but what happens when shit starts coming back at you? What are you going to do? You got to have an answer. If you don't have an answer for it, I mean, like, he'll throw 1,000 punches, but don't throw 1,000 punches and get hit with 900 in return. You know what I mean? So you know, and to try to calm him down, because sometimes, like, he gets going. You know what I mean? And when he gets going, it's like a snowball going downhill. He just builds up momentum. And sometimes I tell him, yo, you know, you're fighting 8-10 rounds. Relax. This is not a 3-round amateur fight. Got to relax. Take your time. The more relaxed you are, the better you think, and the better your punches flow.
When you're looking at a fighter then that often starts off fast, and like you said, there's loads of rounds to go, so there's no need to rush. When your opponent comes out fast, what is like an ideal game plan for?
You got to get his respect.
To get the better of them if they're coming out fast at you, what would you do to still pace yourself and maintain control of the fight, buddy?
Sometimes you got to sit in the pocket and let them know that I can sit in the pocket with you if this is what you really want. But that's not your intentions, to sit in the pocket, but you got to let them know. If you want to sit in the pocket, we can sit in the kitchen, baby, and make it hot. But that's not your intentions. You know, some guys, when they see that, oh shit, this guy is not backing away.
Okay.
Now they got to change their tune. You know what I mean? But now, when they change their tune, they fall right into your plan. You got to make them respect you somehow, some way, whether it's with a hard jab, whether it's with a body shot, something, or just sit in there and act like you. And that's why I tell guys, you got to be relaxed. You got to be relaxed, especially when the guy's putting pressure. You're inside, you relax. He's trying hard. You just relax inside and just countering the shit out of him. You know what I mean? He's wasting all the energy trying to bully you. So if that's what you want to do, go ahead. I'm going to break your ass down over 4 or 5 rounds. And then after that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So sometimes you got to do that. But you got to be able to do that. In order to be able to do that, you got to work on that in the gym. You got to teach the guys. And to me, infighting is a lost art in boxing. Everybody wants to be all up here. How many fighters can you really say you see fight on the inside effectively?
Callum Smith, but we'll get onto him in a bit. But go on.
Okay, there you go. But now, who else? I tell guys, watch Roberto Duran. I tell most guys that want to learn on infighting, watch the first James Toney, Mike McCullum fight. Okay. These two guys were in the center of the ring and just was phenomenal. Phenomenal. But most guys don't know what they're looking at. You know what I mean? Most guys are, oh, he's inside. Yeah, but there's no clinching. They're inside. Boom, they doing their thing, man. That's what to me, that's what great fighters do. You got to be able to fight on the inside as well on the outside. That's what made Roberto Duran so great. Because you know he can get you on the inside. If you got inside on Roberto Duran, you was done. He was done. He beat you up. I mean, he beat you up bad. But it's a lost art today. You don't see no guys fight on the inside today. I mean, you don't see guys teaching guys how to fight on the inside today. I mean, I think it's just a lost art.
When you teach a fighter on the inside, obviously a bag isn't going to move. Does it become like technical sparring? I'm trying to get in the gym with you and see how you teach that.
This is what I do.
Yeah.
I tell the guy, look at the bag view the bag as your opponent.
Yep.
So now you got to set the bag up so as you can fight on the inside and have your distance, be able to punch and move, not smother yourself. You got to think. See, most guys, they just hit the heavy bag to be hitting it. But you got to think. That's your opponent. So you got to think when you hit the heavy bag. You know what I mean? When you're in the midst, that's choreography. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But when you're on the heavy bag, now you got to think. And fighters, my guys, they hate when I put them on the heavy bag. Because I stand and I'm a pain in the ass. Or I sit there in my chair and I just watch them be like, nope, nope, nope. Okay, yep. Then I got to get up and show them. You know what I mean? I mean, like, okay, you're hitting the bag, you're on the inside. But to me, if the heavy bag hits your head, that's a headbutt. You're too close. You smother yourself. So you got to work on getting the distance on the heavy bag. You got to control the heavy bag. You know what I mean? You just don't hit it. You got to control it. To me, I was taught that's your opponent, and you got to treat it like your opponent. And some guys just throw crazy punches. Okay, that looks good, but what are you going to do after that? Got to have an answer. You got to picture punches coming back at you. You know what I mean? You got to picture that shit in your head, just where you get into the habit of doing it instinctively. I tell God, I want you walking down the street, moving your head. So that's the way, I'm an old school guy, and so I found that when guys do that, when they get in the ring, and it's like, all right, look, when you was on the, remember you did this, that, and the third. Okay, now let's go set it up. Even on the heavy bag, I tell a guy, set the bag up for this combination. Then they throw it. No, set it up. Whereas you can throw the combination, but when you're done with the combination, you have an escape route, just as you would have in the ring. You know what I mean? So that's what so they hate when they see me without the mitts, because they know that their ass is in trouble.
I can picture it. That is what I wanted to see, because
I'm gonna get you one day in the gym. I'll get you one day in the gym. I'll get you on the bag one day.
I'd love it. I really would. I do like a challenge. I probably won't love it at the end. No, during it. But I know once I'm finished, I'll be like, okay, lesson learned. I love that.
The key is to walk away learning at least one thing.
Yeah.
That's the whole key. I mean,
when you mention mitts, and I'm sorry I'm getting technical, but I love the art. I love the art of the sport and how it's taught. You said the mitts is more choreography. And when you talk about old school wasn't necessarily mitts. Mitts is kind of a new thing when it comes to
there was no mitts. Either you sparred or you hit the heavy bag. You know what I mean? And there was some days I would be like, I wish I would spar. Because my trainer was a pain in the ass. I thank him for it, but he used to sit there. My trainer used to sit next to me and smoke a cigarette while I hit the heavy bag. And I better not say shit about that cigarette. I better not complain. I just had to he was an old Italian guy, old Italian man. And he'd sit by the door with the cigarette the door was by the heavy bag, and the wind would blow the freaking smoke right to me while I was hitting the heavy bag. But I thank him for that, because he taught me so much. And eventually, as I was doing it, I seen this shit works. When I was sparring, it worked. Learn how to fight on the inside, learn how to set the bag up, just so much stuff that he taught me that, that I was like, this don't make sense when I first started training with him. But then as I went on, I was like, shit, it makes a whole lot of sense. And he was too old to hold the mitts. You know what I mean? The mitts, if the mitts are used to teach and get sharp, yeah. You know what I mean? But most guys, most people get on the mitts and they're all fancy. But I ask guys, if you hit the mitts for 3 rounds, and if you can't tell me one thing you learned, you just wasted 3 rounds. If you can't tell me one thing you've learned or worked on, what are you doing? I mean, man, there was a post someone had on Instagram about a week ago with Manny Stewart saying the same thing about the pads. They cool. But some people just, it's all flashy. Like, people think Floyd Mayweather was flashy on the mitts. Yeah, he was. But behind the scenes, his uncle and his dad taught him. In front of the cameras, they did the flashy shit, which was cool. But I know for a fact, because I know his uncle and I know his dad, I know behind the scenes when they did mitts, they worked on certain shit. That much I do know, because I used to see them. You know what I mean? They used to teach. But not too many people, people today think that if a guy can do mitts, why he's a good trainer. What makes him a good trainer? Well, look how he does the mitts. That don't make him a fucking good trainer. That's choreography. I'm telling you what punches to throw at me. So if I'm telling you what to throw,
you're not thinking.
Thank you. You know what I mean? But now if you throw a combination, then I come back with something. And then I say, okay, now after you finish the combination, I'm gonna do this, you gotta do that. And some guys, they don't get it. Some do, some don't. So to me, it's all about getting ready, getting sharp, and teaching at the same time on the mix. But that's how everyone, oh, you so old school. Okay, I'll be old school, but that's who I am.
When you have like the sparring partners, and this is where you could probably correct me as a overzealous fan, I'm a fan of sparring up. So in other words, getting better experience. Unless you're at the top level, I like the fighters to be able to push themselves sometimes, because sometimes I feel that they get used to sparring partners, so then it's almost repetitive and not necessarily challenging. But
Right.
That's just my personal opinion. I've never been a trainer, as you know. I've never boxed, but I always think that fighters should, where possible, spar up. But what are your thoughts on that? And if there's a disagreement, why?
Oh yes, I mean, when you're coming up and you're learning, you box certain guys, you up your sparring, but you don't do it all the time, especially if you're young, because you could burn yourself out if you're boxing these experienced guys too much. You know what I mean? If you're boxing them too much, because the old experienced guys, they know how to slow your young ass down and teach you. So you learn from them, and then you go and you get other guys, and then whatever you learn from the experienced guy, you work with on somebody else. You know what I mean? You spawn and you're just working on different things. Now it may take you 2-3 rounds, it may take you 2 or 3 days, but you're getting the best of both worlds if it's done right.
So what type of opponents? Sorry, go on.
No, I like to get guys that I'm gonna get guys that's gonna make my guys work. I'm gonna get guys that's gonna make my guy think. Not just sit there and get their ass kicked every day. No, make them think. Got to make my guy think. You got to make him work. You got to make him do a little bit of everything, because that's what his opponent's going to do. So you got to be able to think in there. If you just go in and just do it, it don't make any sense. Because if you're faced with something and then you didn't prepare for it the right way, you're in trouble.
So how do you see this is more like the psychology side. How do you see the psychology level of a fighter where you know how much you can push them? I'll just give you an example. A young fighter loses early on in their career. A loss is not just you fell over and hit your face on the pavement. A loss is loads of people were watching you. We may have thought big things of you, and you've gone and lost to somebody that you shouldn't have lost to. Now, psychologically, what does that do to fighters? And have you had to deal with fighters that have had that psychological block maybe?
Today in boxing, if a guy loses, people act like it's the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. It happened. So you go to the drawing board and you come back. And what makes you, if you learn from it, it'll make you a better fighter. You know what I mean? If you learn from the loss, it'll make you a better fighter, because now you know what you need to work on. And when you're faced with certain situations, you know how to deal with it because you've been there already. I mean, some of these guys are never been in certain situations, then they get in a big fight and they're like, oh shit, I've never been in this situation before. Well, how do I handle it? And then he loses, everybody like, oh, he's this, he's that. No, he's just, he didn't test the waters before. This is his first time testing the waters. So I believe when you're building a fighter up, they gotta get tested. This way, when you get in that to the big time and you're faced with certain situations, you can say, okay, I've been here already. I know how to handle it. But if you've never been there, here's the key now. If you've never been there and your trainer's never been there, where you going? Where you going? You know what I mean? If you have no answers for the guy and your trainer has no answers for the guy, where you going? So you go back to the drawing board. Sometime a guy lose to train his fault. Was it his fault when he was winning? Okay, maybe it just wasn't your day that day. It happens. It's part. Yeah, listen, the Chicago Bulls with Michael Jordan, they lost games, but he's still one of the greatest players ever because he was able to come back. You know what I mean? So people today in boxing, everybody wants to protect that zero. But sometimes it takes that loss to make you a better fighter. You know what I mean? So if you're riding your bike recklessly and never fall off, you're going to continue to do it.
True.
When you fall off that motherfucker, hey, I got to sharpen this up. You know what I mean? So it happened. I mean, listen, for guys undefeated, hey, God bless them. You know what I mean? But it happens in this game. You get beat. So, okay, so what? It's not the end of the world. But they treat it like it's the end of the world. And I asked guys, buddy, I lost. I said, did you learn anything? Yeah. Okay, you won. You lost the battle, but won the war. Because now when you fight again and you're faced with that certain situation, you know how to handle it. I mean, sometimes your fighter gets in a situation that's never been there. And if the corner has no answers, it's a long night for the fighter. You got to take that ass whooping by yourself.
Yeah, I'm just...
So, it happens.
How do they recover from the mental block? Because some fighters, it's a struggle for them. Like I said, it's today, social media, I hear it. But how would you encourage a fighter? I mean...
I just tell them, hey, look, did you learn anything from the loss?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so go work on it. Come back better. I mean, come back better. I mean, if you couldn't do it, it's a different ballgame. But if you have the ability to do it, then you go out there and you do it and you improve and you come back better. That's what makes you a better fighter. And when next time, like I say, when you get in that situation again, you know how to handle it. But if you've never been there, and the sad part is if you've never been there, and then your trainer's never been there in a situation like that,
panic.
Like I said, you got to take that ass whooping for 12 rounds, 10 or 12 rounds. Sometimes you got to be able to think on the fly. You know what I mean? Shit is not going right. And you got to be able to think for yourself. I mean, it could be in the middle of a round. Shit is not going right. You can't say, okay, I'm going to take this ass whooping for the next 2.5 minutes. No, you got to be able to think on the fly right in there. Boom, right then and there. You got to be able to make that adjustment. I mean, and if you're not taught how to make those adjustments, where you going? So there's a lot to it that a lot of people don't see. You know what I mean? You get some people don't see it. You get some people that won't admit it. But it's just a reality. You know? Some people won't admit it, but it is what it is. You know what I mean?
So how do you deal with the ones that don't admit it?
That time you got to be true. In order to get to the next level, you got to be true to yourself. You got to be honest. I mean, be like, yo, I just got my ass whooped. I got to come back better than this. Guy, oh man, my running shoes wasn't right. My mouthpiece wasn't put in right. Maybe it just wasn't your night, man. It happens. You know what I mean? Some of the greatest fighters in the world lost. But what made them great is how they came back from it, from the defeat. Sugar Ray Leonard, when he lost to Roberto Duran, biggest lesson he ever learned. He came back double time better fighter. So shit happens. I mean, it happens. I mean, you don't sulk about it. You're just like, all right, I gotta figure this out. I mean, this is when you gotta man up and figure it out. I mean, then once you figure it out, you become a whole new different fighter because now you've been in a position where there's nothing that guy can do to you that you haven't experienced already. I'm saying there's nothing you can show me that I haven't experienced already. I've experienced getting my ass kicked. I experienced it. It's like, now I'm gonna come back better than that. But most guys won't admit that. I mean, if you lost to the better man, you just lost to the better man. That's all it is. It wasn't your night. You didn't have an answer for him that night. But maybe next time you get it. But mentally, myself, mentally and physically, when I had my first loss, I came back better. I became a better fighter after my first loss. I was 30-0.
Oh.
I was 30-0 when I got my first loss. You know what I mean? But when I lost, I walked from the arena to my hotel, which is about a mile walk. by myself. And when I got to the hotel, I told my manager, get me another fight. And he looked at me. He's like, what? I said, get me another fight. He said, kid, I said, that was in July. 1986. I said, get me a fight. I'm going to go home and rest a week and I'm coming back. I fought 2 months later. I fought in September. And I fought a former world champion in September. After my first loss, my next fight back, I fought a former world champion. I beat him, made me a better fighter. Then 2 years later, I got a rematch with the guy who beat me for my first world title. And when we got to the weigh-in, I said to his trainer, got the solution this time. He said, Georgie Benton, God bless me. He's like, you motherfucker, you motherfucker. I said, I got you this time, Georgie. You know what I mean? And I beat him. It wasn't easy, but I beat him. But the loss made me a better fighter.
Buddy, is there a massive difference in psychology of fighters previously to psychology of fighters today?
I think I'm going to say yes, because like I say, today, everybody wants to protect that O. Nobody wants to, everybody wants to protect the O, which is understandable. But at the same time, like when I was like previously, even before me, when I was fighting, some guys would fight 5, 6 times, 7 times within a year. I mean, you're lucky enough to get these guys to fight twice a year. So the attitude is different. The money's different. And the guys, everybody just, like I say, wants to protect that zero to get to that big payday. They want to protect that zero. So I just feel that, I have a question I ask every reporter. When was the last time you seen a world champion have a non-title fight? He's a current champion, but he fights a non-title fight. When was the last time you saw that happen? Thank you.
I'm trying to think. I'm just going through the list of people.
You can. It's been a long time since a guy who's a current champion says, okay, I'm going to fight so-and-so in a 10-rounder, non-title fight. When was the last time you saw that happen?
Yeah, they don't do that, but I think that, you know what, he's not a title holder anymore. I was about to say they're trying to introduce that, but his former world champions, and they'll call it the warm-up fight, but not current.
No. You're a current champion. Right now, I'm champion of the world. And I'm not going to defend my title, say, for 6, 7 months. But I'm going to take a fight in between. I'm going to fight a non-title fight. You don't see that today. Guys don't do that today. Keep thinking. They don't.
Yeah. I'm trying to. You know what? I was going to say. Oh, but Anthony Joshua fought Usyk, but that was a title fight.
Right.
Remember when he had the IBF? That was the first bout he lost. Then
you never see guys today do non-title fights. It don't happen. When I was fighting, it happened all the time. Because we wanted to stay busy.
Yeah.
We wanted to keep our tools sharp. The only way we're going to keep your tools sharp is by fighting. Not by sitting around hanging out on social media, doing this, doing that. No. You stayed busy. You stayed busy. So, but you don't see that today.
Do you think social media's got a lot to do with the mentality of fighters today, and the reason why potentially some fighters get into boxing is for the glory of being known, being a celebrity, rather than the glory of skill, having those belts, taking those risks, being known for that?
It's 50-50. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because social media also helps build, and gets more fans interested because everybody's talking trash over the internet. It's good. So it's 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. So it's 50-50.
I've got to ask, because obviously the last time we spoke, it was Dillian Whyte going in to fight Moses Atauma. A difficult fight to watch, buddy. And I've got to admit, I thought, are you going to hand him the cigar today? I was like, what is going on? It was a mad one. But your point of view?
I really don't know. He just said, buddy, I got caught. I mean, he just said I got caught with it because I was okay, but I'm like, I said, I mean, I can't elaborate on how good the shot was. I mean, he just said, buddy, I got caught with a good shot because when we got back to the dressing room, see how I got caught, man. I mean, and was it heartbreaking? Yeah. You know what I mean? But have we talked about it? No, we haven't talked about it.
May
You
I
know what I
ask
mean?
why?
To be honest, I haven't seen him. To be honest, I haven't. After the fight, I went home and I was right back to work. And then he went home to enjoy his family. And he called me up one day and he goes, "Yo, man, when I see you, we talk." I said, "Okay." So I haven't physically seen him. You know what I mean? He called. We talk all the time on the phone. I mean, we talk. He calls me at least once a week. I call him. We bullshit. We bullshit on Instagram. You know what I mean? We crack jokes. I tease him about his dogs. I tell him his dogs are mutts. He gets mad at me. I tell him I kick his dog's ass. You know what I mean? And he gets mad. He goes, "Yeah, my dog will bite you in your ass." I'm like, "Your dog ain't gonna do shit. He's a punk." But we haven't saw each other face to face yet to sit down and talk. You know
All
what I
right,
mean?
I'll wait
So,
till you have that conversation and then we'll carry on from that because it would be rude
exactly.
to imply or to ask what you would ask him. I just wanted to see if you'd had a conversation, but you haven't.
No, we haven't. We didn't have a conversation. I asked him, "Was he okay?" He said, "Yeah." Then the next day, I flew out of Saudi. I came home. I waited a couple days. I called him. I think that Monday or Tuesday. See how he was doing. He said, "I'm okay." I said, "Okay, enjoy the family and we'll talk." He said, "Okay."
Yeah.
I called him a couple weeks later. We was laughing, joking, and he goes, "Yo, when I'm gonna see you so we can talk?" I says, "Well, when it's meant to be, we'll sit down and chat."
Yeah.
I mean, but matter of fact, he called me last week, right before Christmas, with his dogs talking shit.
Yeah, that is Dillian. I do speak to him as well. He'll
Yes, I
often
mean, I love him. I love the guy.
Yeah,
He's a great guy.
great
You know
guy.
what I'm saying?
He is. Yeah.
Great guy. It's crazy as hell, but he's a great guy. Man, shit, man. Shit, nigga, shit, nigga, shit.
That's Dillian. Yeah.
He's a great guy, man.
I always think that he would probably make an excellent trainer at the end of his career. Because
You know what though? I'm gonna tell you, listen, you're right, but at one point, but his patience. I've seen him try to help guys in the gym.
Can't do
I've
it.
seen him look at the guys and be like, "Yo, what the fuck is wrong with you?" And I'm like, "Yo, dog, you gotta understand, man. You gotta have patience. You gotta have patience." He's like, all right, man. You know what I mean? He's like, all right. You know what I mean? So, but he's my man though, man. Him and Big Derek, those are my guys, man. Chisora, those two, they're my guys.
I've got to ask Callum Smith. What are we doing with him? He's a fighter that you've had for a while now. He's clearly happy with you as his trainer.
He's supposed to be fighting David Morrell.
Yes.
So, they work. I don't know what's going on, if it's going to be in February or the end of January. So he just said, "Your buddy, can you get to camp so we can be ready if they call us?" I said, "No problem." So I got him here. I got Jordan Flynn here, and I got Ziyad Almaayouf.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fighting. Zizzo's fighting on the show in New York, January 31st.
Okay.
There's Shakur, Tiafimo card.
Yeah.
Yeah. So getting them ready for that. And Jordan's fighting the 24th. And
I'll be there.
Is that Manchester?
Yep. I'll be there.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. So you're going to be potentially all over the place.
Yeah.
So Manchester the 24th,
Then New York the 31st.
Then wherever Callum's going to be.
Yeah.
What's it like training Callum Smith, an experienced former world champion at the lower weight? What is it like training somebody like him that potentially could have had loads of different habits from his previous style, and then you've helped mold him into, a greater fighter?
I love working with Callum. I mean, the funny thing is that he hates when he's hitting the heavy back because he knows I'm gonna be right there and be a pain in the ass. You know what I mean? And he just looks at me like today. As a matter of fact, today he's doing the heavy because we did mitts on Monday. So today, New Year's Eve, he's going to end 2025 on a good note. He's going on the heavy back today.
You got to film it, or is it too tactical to show it on social media?
No, I mean, I've filmed. I have somebody film some of the stuff, and you know what I mean.
I wouldn't mind
And I
if you
post
film that and tag me.
Of course, definitely.
So, what is your greatest achievement then, buddy? What would you say your greatest achievement is? I know when we spoke years ago, you always wanted to be a trainer. That was your goal. You were very successful in boxing, but your heart was always to be a coach, to be a mentor, to be a teacher. So what is your greatest achievement so far?
I just said I want to say just helping, knowing that I was able to help another individual achieve their goal of becoming a world champion. But not even, you know what, just helping them as a fighter. You know what I mean? You know, to watch them be successful. Some were not world champions, some were successful but not world champions, but got a taste of it and was able to take it and capitalize on it in other ways. So just to watch that and watch how boxing can turn someone's life around and watch them just go on to bigger and better things. That to me is an accomplishment. I mean, that's something that can never be taken away. So, you know, anything I can do to help anybody, you know what I mean, I love it. And this makes me feel proud and makes me feel good. And
so far, just for our viewers that don't know, how many fighters have you actually trained throughout your career, and which one of those were the standout ones and the great memories that will live on with you?
I got a lot of memories with a lot of them. You know what I mean? Wow, that's a good question. You know what I mean? I can honestly say that I've been blessed. You know what I mean? In boxing, you know, as far as fighting and training. You know, and wow, I got so many experiences with guys. It's crazy. I mean, I could go back. You know, from Aturo Gatti, Tarver and Laila Ali. You know what I mean? There's just so many experiences, you know. I'm going to give you one of my funniest experiences was with Chisora when he fought Joseph Parker, you know. So we after the weigh-in. No, it wasn't the weigh-in. It was the media day.
Yeah.
And Eddie Hearn told Chisora that he had to come out first. So Chisora says, yeah. He's like, yeah. He said that he went up to Derek. He said, listen, he goes, I don't mean to be an asshole, but, you got to come out first. Chisora said, okay, well, I'm going to be an asshole now. And the fight is off. I'm not fighting if I got to come out first. So Chisora tells everybody, this is during COVID. He tells everybody, pack up, we're leaving. No fight, fight's off. So everyone's running around the hotel packing their shit. So I go to my room, I'm watching TV. You know what I mean? So his friends knocked on the door. He's like, come on, you packed? I'm like, man, we ain't going no fucking where, man. He said, Derek is serious. I'm like, listen, we're not going anywhere. I said, the fight is in 2 days. Derek is not going home. So the guy had the stuff on the thing that the hotel has for the luggage.
Yeah.
He's like, look, buddy, we packed. I said, let's go to Derek's room. Went to fucking Derek's room. He was laid back on the couch watching TV. I said, I tell you, this motherfucker ain't leaving. Like, everybody was running frantic. Oh, my God, Derek, the fight's off. I'm like, man, Derek ain't going nowhere, man. We got 2 days. You know what I mean? We've been training, man. Derek ain't going nowhere, man. You know what I mean? And he was sitting in the room laughing. He goes, I got to fuck with them, buddy. I said, I see that. You did a good job. You know what I mean? So, but, back to the question, I really can't just name one thing because there's been so many experiences that have been great.
And may those experiences continue. I just want to end off, obviously, we've seen that Anthony Joshua, unfortunately, was in a road traffic accident and has lost 2 of his friends, close friends, friends in business and in life. So, yeah, I just want to end on a message from you about that and how life is extremely short and can be cut short.
Yes, it could be, baby. It's I mean, my condolences go out to everybody, to the champ and his friends and families, man. It's sad, man. They're young men. they didn't get to live life yet, man. And so it's really sad, man, and I just hope that that Joshua can overcome this mentally and go on in life. And I know it's easier said than done. Any of us can say certain things, but to have been there and see your two homies go like that when it could have been you if you were sitting on that side of the car. You know what I mean? And it's sad, man. It's really sad. And my condolences and my heart and prayers go out to the families of everybody.
Yeah. Buddy, listen, I'm gonna leave it there for today. I want to say thank you very much for your time. You will get me on the heavy bag. It's definitely gonna happen. Definitely gonna happen.
Okay, October. I'm gonna hold you to it now.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. I don't shy away from hard work. I might not like it, but I won't shy away from it. You know what I mean? I'm like that.
Okay.
I might be cussing at the time, but I'll be grateful at the end of it when I'm crawling back to wherever I need to crawl to. You know what I mean? Man, hell, I did it. So, buddy, I appreciate.
But before you get on the bag, I'm going to say it's time for the percolator. And then by round 3,
embarrassment. Oh my God.
And by round 3, you're gonna look at me and you're gonna say, "Man, hell."
If I make it to round 3.
Oh, you'll make it. I get you through it.
Yeah.
I mean, I get you through it.
Yeah. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, please put your thoughts and comments, all the rest of the good stuff in, obviously, the comment section, and give a thank you to Buddy McGirt that's taken the time out to speak to us today. So as we say at October Red, stay ready. No, thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Red is sponsored by SA Security. Maximum security, minimum fuss.